part 2. We got some snow on the way home last night. Yeah. We got pry bar over here. It's open.
What are you doing?
Getting the tripod for the GoPro. Oh yeah! Go ahead and hop in the car. Well, I'm gonna push it off.
Huh?
We're gonna push it off.
Probably can't push it.
What? Go ahead and get it.
That's gonna run off in the ditch.
Is it?
How come this tire don't look like it's turned as much as the other tire?
I don't know.
What am I getting in for?
I don't know.
Is Jan's store open?
No. But Elizabeth couldn't open it last night either, so hold on here. Pry bar to open the door. Brand new battery in it.
Well, yeah, I'll do it right there.
Go ahead and start it up. Turn the wheels just a little bit more. There you go. Are you on the brake? I'm pretty sure the e-brake's on. Put in park. Elizabeth's got a scraper glove.
Stepper glove.
A scraper glove.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow. So girly. It's the cheapest scraper in the world. It's got a glove around it.
Yeah.
Look. So look, you can put your finger through it.
What's she doing with this?
That'll go right for you though. Scraper glove back. Spin around and hook onto it. Dog chain, I guess.
Get behind and push it.
Uh-uh.
What?
What?
Yeah, that's what you said, the blade.
Yeah, but not up here.
Why?
Just right when I get you go in the garage.
That one's cracked up. Why? Dang, I heard him on her. Good Buick right on, though. Yeah. Yeah. You won't hit that one. Put it on truck. Some that you got 2 days.
To get it going?
Yeah, you got something Tuesday. What you said.
Yeah,
You gotta keep up with your schedule.
I thought it was an easy fix. Alright, ready?
I ain't gonna sit in there.
It might. Turn the wheels all the way this way. It's really cold out, so we're going to let the rhino warm up while we get the garage ready to push the Buick inside. yesterday, I didn't really film it. Once we got it loaded and everything, we hit this ice storm on the way back with the tow dolly. It's not the best thing to do. So this time, we just got it off the tow dolly, froze the straps and everything, then we pulled it back here. We're going to put a blanket over the blade. We're going to try to push it back into here without it getting hurt or damaged. Pants are falling down underneath the coveralls. Once we do that, we're going to dig into it a little bit more. You guys didn't see the fact that last night I changed the ignition control module. I changed out all the coil plugs, all the coil packs, checked spark. It had spark, but very erotic and very light spark, so that's why I changed all that. And then when I tried to start it, it's the same thing. Spark's not any better, so I'm going to get this out of the control module. The problem is, I hooked my code scanner up to it like it showed. It's got 40 codes and I can't clear them, so I'm going to guess that has something to do with it tied into it. So we're going to get the car in here and get it warmed up in here and go from there. So we're back. Got the Park Avenue here in the back. We got in the garage, as you saw from the last video. Currently, it is really cold. Let's see here. Where we're from here, it is 5 degrees outside, so you're gonna have to deal with the heater on. So on the Park Avenue, like I may not have explained already, when I first looked at the car, I thought it was just a vacuum line. Or the security system in it. When we went to see the car yesterday, when we went to pick it up, the security system light was actually not on, but it is present where you can turn the key on. It does show that it's working. Well, actually, when you shut the key off, it blinks. So that wasn't a problem with the car. Secondly, it's got a lot of new parts on it. I changed the battery out, and then when I scanned the codes, I realized that it had 40 codes after just changing the battery. I cleared them and they were all still there. The other thing that I find very weird about that, sorry, I think my plastic over the window is coming off. Okay, so it's also very, very windy outside. So, just like this here. Let me get that stapled down good. Anyways, so I started the car, tried to start the car, codes are present, tried to clear them, codes are still present. Check engine light's on, but if you just do a generic code scan like every other OBD reader does, except for the nicer ones, it doesn't show any codes at all. It says there's no codes active, but the check engine light's on. So what I think's going on is I think we have a ground issue, or I think the ECMs went bad. I've never actually seen an ECM bad. A buddy of mine just said something about the timing. I don't think it's a timing issue, but I will not rule that out yet. I'm just going to rule the simpler items out first. The reason I don't think it's a timing issue is because I don't feel like that would make the computer go all wonky. I feel like a ground issue could. So here's the grounds we have. I looked this up on the internet earlier. The diagram. The first ground that we're going to tackle is the engine harness. It says 15 centimeters from the cruise control module breakout. There's a ground. The ground's somewhere around there. And it's the ground for the transmission temperature sensor, which we do have the trans code, not exactly a temperature sensor code though. Oil pressure switch, which it does not work, it shows 170 psi. Then we have a fuel tank sending unit, which is also showing way under E. It's actually under the, it's either way high or way low, but it's under the little stop peg. So we're going to look into that. And then we have the PCM, AC pressure switch, which it is throwing a code for the AC pressure switch. And then we have the PCM ground, and it's actually got like 3 grounds right there. So, like I said, the PCM wouldn't reset code, so that's a good one. The second ground is below the power steering pump back here on what they call the front of the motor, being front-wheel drive. This is the front of the motor here, and it shows that it's an oil level switch, which we don't have a low oil level light on. Rear O2 sensor, which we do have the light on for. Front O2 sensor, which it's still in a code for. The third ground below the power steering pump is 4 times for the power steering ground. What I think happens, I think they did lower intake manifold gaskets and they couldn't get the car to start after this because they've just recently been done. There's a couple of things that hit that, and I'll show that here in a second. So the fourth is under the junction box below the power steering pump also, and it says ground for the fuel pumps in the trunk. So on the other third ground has mass airflow sensor on it too, which we also have a code for. So away with that, I'll come over here and I'll grab the light, then I'll grab you guys and we'll get started. So here's why I think that the car's just had lower intake manifold gaskets put in it. If you look here at the injectors, they're all brand new, and you can see the grease around it. If you look right here at the throttle body gasket, you can see that it's just recently been ground, not throttle body, mass airflow sensor. It's just recently been ground down and been replaced. The temperature sensor seems newer, looks like it's been taken off. That's been replaced. That's also another thing that's got the code thrown for it. It's got newer spark plug wires, all new spark plugs. This sensor is new. Mass airflow sensor. The alternator's new. I feel like they just tried to really go through some stuff here. So my first order of business, I'm going to remove the top of the airbox here. The ECM is supposed to be under that. And go from there. I'll let you guys, I'll come back when I find something out. Alright, so been doing a couple tests here, and what I did is I took my spark plug tester that you can get at Harbor Freight real cheap. Looks like this. And I've undid all my coils, and I've put it on every coil from 6, 3, 2, 5, and 4, and 1. And I've got a good, reliable spark on coil pack 1 and 4. You know, it's the same coil pack. It's reliable on both those. It's reliable on both 5 and 2. But now the very top coil, 3 and 6, it's not getting any fire from it. Once in a blue moon it'll hit a fire signal, but most of the time it's just nothing. And what's really weird is when it hits a fire signal on 3 and 6, the car will almost start. I'm going to demonstrate right now for you guys. I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer. Hope that was good enough for you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and shut it off because it looks like the battery's going to die. For it.